fire-resistant gardening. And boy, is this timely for Jim in your area. You've got some big fires down there.
Malibu is really going.
Mm-hmm. And it's raining where Denise and I live. Yet fire is always at the top of our mind out here. And I mean, look at what New Jersey just went through. It's all over the place. And so, you know, it used to be just not too far in the past that fire resistant gardening is pretty much a West Coast topic, you know, fire prone areas. But now it's just happening everywhere, as heartbreaking as that is. And so it's interesting. I put in a lot of links on this one too, because there's so much to creating like a Firewise garden, firescaping, it can be called. So much to it, again, with the plant selection, but also how you plant. And there's so many resources out there for you to kind of do your own research. But the basic idea is that around your home, there's gardening zones. And like the first zone is usually the lowest growing plants within maybe 30 feet of your home. The second zone moves out a little farther, maybe 70 feet. It's the mid zone. And that's usually where people have their more traditional type of garden. And you can have little taller plants. And if you have trees and taller shrubs, you can prune the lower limbs off of those a little bit. This photo here is showing it, just an example of some low water plant in that first zone, the ground covers. But then the third zone, even farther out, that's really should be no closer than about 100 feet from the home. That's where you're really focusing on pruning and keeping those trees cleared of dead branches. You're keeping your shrubs from accumulating a lot of leaf litter that can catch fire easily, etc. The goal really is to keep the fire from, they call it laddering up from the ground. So when an ember blows over, you don't want it to land where there's a lot of dry, hot summer leaves that are all piled up in the center of a shrub, for example, or dead tree branches, or tree branches that are growing towards your house. This is by no means an exhaustive, few minutes that we're talking about here. It's just to point out that it's something that I think most people are really starting to think about with their garden and the zones of the garden. And then again, what makes a plant in particular fire resistant. And so while no plants are fireproof, just like no plants are deer proof, there's fire resistant plants and they have low volatile oils. They might have really deep root systems that help anchor them and they have a better chance of coming back, etc. So you can kind of read this list. What's really, really interesting that I wanted to point out is Debra Lee Baldwin, who is kind of known as the unofficial queen of succulents, has written extensively about succulents and their incredible fire resistant qualities. And she has so much online, so please watch her videos. I try to include a couple links there. She has so many videos about the amazing garden actually that survived going through a fire, and all the homes around it burned. And you can see where the fire stopped, and it burned half the succulents, and then they lived. They were burned, but they stopped the fire. They acted as a fire break. And I remember years ago when this happened, and the news jumped on that garden because it was like, oh my gosh, this is unbelievable that these succulents did this. And so there's a lot of information out there. And it's, as I recall, it is actually a client that Debra had worked with or creating this. So there's a lot of information about that out there on the succulents to research and videos that are great.
Denise, in your area, you guys had a horrific fire a while back. What was there any ideas that came out of that on what to do?
Yeah, lots of different ideas and the different, like the municipalities are involved. There's kind of conflicting information, not information, but ideas. Like we really want to conserve soil moisture and contribute organic matter to the soil, but that mulch that we want to add on is pretty flammable, especially if it gets really dry. And most people use drip, and unless the plant is really well watered, that can just itself, it could be, it could make it more flammable by not just being watered. And what's happening now in our area is they're encouraging gravel more instead of mulch. And then also what Rebecca was talking about, the different zones, so to reduce that laddering effect. And also the spacing of plants. Don't like a plant that gets 4 feet across. Normally they would typically in a landscape plan, they would be planted 4 feet on center. Now they're saying plant them 8 feet apart. So you get this different sort of look to the landscape, which I think is interesting and a good thing. And then even the leave the leaves is great, but maybe they're flammable. So we have these conflicts in the garden sometimes that might be hard to resolve. And I was talking to a friend of mine the other day that does podcasts in Sacramento, and she said one of their mantras is all gardening is local. So you just have to figure out what is the best thing for you to do. And it's always going to be different for different people in a different location, and you just make the best choice, and it's okay.
What you talked
Yeah.
about the other day was a hydrated landscape. That's in conflict with low water, right? So
Correct. Yeah.
And it's so important. And one of the articles that I had linked to in there, which I thought was so well done, and it's the photo that I had just shown, but I think it was
Yeah,
like
that was a great article.
isn't that great? Yeah.
Yes.
And it was written, I think like by Native Plant Association, produced that article, as I recall.
Yeah, and
But
I think it was a landscape architect's house. Wasn't it?
It's
I think so.
beautiful.
It was
And
beautiful.
she said over and over and over, exactly what you said, Denise, is like, listen, I know we have to be low water out here, but they have to be hydrated. You can't have these tortured plants. If you're gonna have a garden, don't go so low water that your plants are half dead. They don't look good, and they're very flammable. So hydration is key. Don't do overhead sprinklers out here. We don't do that so much. We do drip. So that's great. Really make sure the plants are hydrated. That will help you in a fire. But like you said, it's counterintuitive to everything we've been talking about. Leave the leaves, put down mulch. Okay, watch your house burn. It's going to catch on fire. It's like we can't win. It's really difficult out here. But like you said, gardening is local. You got to, out here on the West Coast, we're very fire prone. If other people listening are in very fire prone, you may not be able to have your garden be so lush and having all your plants touch. Have them more spaced out. Maybe start introducing gravel, like you said, as a mulch instead of the bark. There are some things that you can do to sort of modify your existing garden. Yeah, there's some conflicting pushing and pulling, isn't there?
Yeah.
I
We do the
agree.
best we can, and
I know.
it may not be right 100% of the time, and not everybody will agree with you, but
Yeah.
it's a great big wide world, and there's room for lots of different opinions and ways to do things.